let's get into some examples of the cost-benefit analysis for penetration testing. And so most folks have probably built some form of ROI or cost-benefit analysis calculation in the past. We at Risk 360 and Renegade Labs decided, okay, we're going to try and put together something. I've had to do it in my past lives, and our customers have asked us for it. So we put together a downloadable spreadsheet. It is in the sidebar, and there'll be a QR code here in a second that helps you calculate cost-benefit analysis, ROI, and payback period for a penetration test. Now, this could be extended to be used for other aspects of a cybersecurity program. And note that we had to make a lot of assumptions as we were building this model. When you download it, feel free to change some of those assumptions, feel free to change some of the calculations, but know that it's a good model, a good baseline to use to help justify spend with regard to cybersecurity. So with this, what we did is, you first look at and identify the scope, then you estimate the cost of the actual penetration test, you estimate the potential benefits and assign a monetary value. So that's an important aspect of this, and I'll show you how we did it in this spreadsheet. You calculate annual loss expectancy. There's a sub-calculation there of potential loss per incident. You calculate ROI, and there are different ways to calculate ROI. This is the method that we chose. You determine the payback period, and then you assess the cost-benefit ratio. So we're going to dig into this, and I'll show you an example of it. So this first example, what we're looking at is they have this organization has 240 systems, 2 web apps, 1 cloud instance, 10 different networks. They're small networks spread all over. They have 10,000 PII records, PII data records. Their current annual revenue is $5 million. Current valuation is $24 million. And they expect to have 1 breach per year. You have to pick something. You can pick 0, you can pick 10. They realistically said, okay, we're going to expect to have 1 breach per year. It may be small, may be large, we're not exactly sure. But for purposes of this, our penetration test is $50,000. Our cost per record breached is $164. And so our average loss expectancy is $164 times 5,000. They're only going to save half of these records are going to get breached. Plus the cost of the test, we end up with $820,000 estimated total cost, right? When we look at benefits, we have to put some stakes in the ground. So we're going to use the 28% reduction in exposure. I fully recognize that that 28% reduction in exposure relates to the entirety of the cybersecurity program, but penetration testing and training, the red team, purple team type aspects of things was specifically called out in that report. So we're going to take that number and glom onto it. So 28% reduction in potential cost of a breach. Several different sources cite a good cybersecurity program that includes penetration testing can help boost revenue, whether it's through a compliance framework or any other means of greasing the skids for sales by at least 2%. Right, so we're going to use that number. You can adjust it up or down if you're playing with this, but 2% of revenue, and then increased valuation. So by having these certifications, by demonstrating a strong cybersecurity program, by demonstrating a strong commitment, your valuation can increase as much as 1%. So if we take all of that, the total estimated monetary value of the benefits is, just a little under $570,000. When we run our ROI calculations, we come back with $10.39 of return for every dollar we spend on penetration testing, 0.09 years and then $11.39 of benefit for every dollar spent on penetration testing. So you can see that it's a very simple business case to be made. There's a strong ROI, there's a great cost benefit ratio, and if you take this approach, adjust it to your environment, it's going to resonate with the folks who are writing the bills. And so I've found that this type of approach has been very useful in working with non-technical people who control budgets and are questioning why they need to spend as much as they do on a penetration test. So let's say you meet with these folks, you go through these numbers, and they say, well, we shouldn't be expecting a breach every year. And, you know, they're right. Maybe they shouldn't. And maybe more realistically, it's once every 5 years. So, you know, you can say, all right, even without an expected breach this year and no annual loss expectancy, the benefit in terms of revenue increase and current value and valuation increase still creates a positive ROI and positive cost benefit ratio, right? Again, you might want to play with these numbers and tweak them. The best approach that I would suggest is, as you're building this business case, work with the CFO or whomever and talk to them and get their perspective on how much of an increase it might allow for, and agree to those numbers, and then use those numbers going forward for not just calculating this, but other efforts under your security umbrella.